Trump's new deportation plan, using IRS data to track immigrants. The Trump administration is advancing a controversial proposal to use IRS data to assist immigration and customs enforcement in identifying and deporting undocumented immigrants. This plan, still under development, raises serious questions about privacy, legality, and public trust. If you are interested in this topic, please pay attention and watch the video through to the end to get all the information. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. We're diving into a topic that's been making waves: the Trump administration's plan to use IRS data to support immigration enforcement. You might have seen headlines calling it a stunt or a deportation weapon. But what's really going on? What's the plan? According to recent reports, the Trump administration is working on a system that would allow the IRS, that's the Internal Revenue Service, the agency that handles our taxes, to share taxpayer information with immigration and customs enforcement. The goal? To help ICE track down undocumented immigrants for deportation. This comes as part of President Trump's broader promise to carry out what he's called the largest deportation program in U.S. history. ICE will provide names and addresses of people they believe are undocumented to the IRS. The IRS would then cross-check this against their taxpayer database to confirm or update addresses. This is a big deal because many undocumented immigrants file taxes using something called an ITIN, an individual taxpayer identification number. In 2022, undocumented immigrants paid $96.7 billion in taxes, contributing to programs like Social Security and Medicare, even though many can't access those benefits themselves. Now, this plan isn't fully in place yet. Reports say the IRS is building a computer system to make this data sharing on demand, but it's still in development. There's even talk of it launching as early as late July 2025. But here's where things get tricky. There's a lot of pushback, and it's not just from advocacy groups. Why is this controversial? The idea of the IRS sharing taxpayer data with ICE has sparked a lot of debate, and for good reason. Let's break down the concerns. Privacy laws. Taxpayer information is protected by strict federal laws. Unauthorized sharing of this data is a felony that could lead to up to 5 years in prison. Some IRS officials, including the former acting general counsel Andrew DeMello, have raised legal concerns. In fact, DeMello was reportedly forced out of his job after refusing to share the addresses of 7.3 million taxpayers with ICE, citing legal deficiencies in the request. Trust in the system. For years, the IRS has encouraged everyone, including undocumented immigrants, to file taxes, promising that their information would stay confidential. If that trust is broken, many worry that people will stop filing taxes altogether. This could lead to a massive drop in tax revenue, potentially $9.5 billion annually for every 10% drop in compliance among undocumented immigrants. That's money that funds schools, roads, and other public services. Risk of errors. IRS insiders have warned that the system could lead to mistakes, like IC rating outdated or incorrect addresses, or targeting the wrong people due to common names. Imagine someone being deported because of a mix-up that's a real concern. Wider implications. Critics, including immigrant rights groups, argue this move could set a dangerous precedent, eroding privacy protections for all taxpayers, not just immigrants. Some even see it as part of a broader agenda to expand surveillance. On the other side, the Trump administration says this is legal and necessary to fulfill campaign promises to prioritize border security and deport criminal aliens. They argue it's about streamlining enforcement, not targeting law-abiding people. What could happen next? The plan is still in the works, but it's already facing legal challenges. Groups like Centro de Trabajadores Unidos and Immigrant Solidarity DuPage have filed lawsuits to block the IRS from sharing data, arguing it violates privacy laws. Meanwhile, some IRS officials have resigned in protest, including Acting Commissioner Melanie Krause, who stepped down after the data sharing agreement was signed. Public opinion is mixed. A PBS News poll found that 54% of Americans think ICE's actions have gone too far, but 80% support deporting immigrants convicted of violent crimes. The nuance here is that many don't want enforcement to target non-criminals or disrupt communities. If the system goes live, it could change how immigrants interact with the tax system and how ICE operates. It might also affect the economy, since deportations could reduce tax contributions and disrupt industries like agriculture and food service, where many undocumented immigrants work. Closing thoughts. This is a complex issue with a lot at stake: privacy, trust, economic impacts, and human lives. Whatever your perspective, it's clear this plan is pushing the boundaries of how government agencies work together and raising big questions about fairness and legality. That is all for today in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later in the next video. Till then, take care.
Trump's new deportation plan using IRS data to track immigrants. The Trump administration is developing a controversial plan to use IRS data to aid ICE in deporting undocumented immigrants. Under the proposal, ICE would supply names and addresses to the IRS, which could cross-check this information using taxpayer records, particularly from those using anonymous taxpayer identification numbers. Although not penalized, the system would launch by in July 2025. Critics raise concern about privacy violations, citing federal law that protect taxpayer data. Former IRS officials, including Andrew De Mello and Acting Commissioner Malin Rose, designated after objecting to or refusing to support the initiative. Opponents argue the move could erode public trust, discourage tax compliance, and lead to costly errors and wrongful deportations. Lawsuits from immigrant rights groups have already been filed. Economically, deportation could harm industries relying on undocumented labor and reduce tax revenue. While the administration defends the plan as a legal step towards stricter immigration enforcement, it remains divisive among the public and poses significant legal, ethical, and practical risks.